Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this pair of replays, subscriber replays, featuring Mac in a pair of light tanks. And if you've watched the channel for any length of time, none of those statements are going to surprise you. So, in this video we're going to be basically comparing the two tier 7 light tanks. Sorry, I had to think for a moment there. It's too early in the morning. And so first we're going to kick off with the new kid on the block, the M41 Walker Bulldog. Now these games are from patch 9.5. In patch 9.6 the Bulldog was nerfed along with I think the T71 and a bunch of other light tanks, including the machine in the second video, the T71, actually received a buff. One of the ways in which the Bulldog was nerfed is that this is the single shot gun that Mac's using, single shot 76mm. It also mounts an autoloader. In patch 9.5 the single shot was considered vastly superior. They nerfed the reload, and now the autoloader is considered superior, and oh my god, surprise FCM and a Chaffee. Oh, ninjured. Dodge, ninjured. Run away, run away. And that one goes over his head. And somehow, Mac manages to make it out of that situation without having taken a single bit of damage of any description. Because he can be a jammy little swine sometimes. Anyway, spotted the enemy T71, who's probably not going to be long for this world, I imagine. Although he manages to put a shot into artillery. And a second shot into artillery. And kill the artillery before the Jagdpanther decides that's quite enough from you, thanks Sonny Jim. So far Mac has managed to somehow get out of a tight spot with all of his health and modules intact and crew members, and is now holding down the W key until he finds some things to kill, and even then frankly he's probably not going to release the W key. There's going to be a lot of W key action in this replay. So, having patrolled around his own base, Mac is now heading across the this river in the middle of the map. This is the northwest map, I think it's called. Manages to not get hit by that T-34, and is making it into the enemy base. Now, I haven't already mentioned, but this is quite favourable matchmaking. Tier 7 light tanks get match made as if they're Tier 8 tanks, basically. So if you're a tank with scout matchmaking under the current... I have no idea where that shot went. Under the current matchmaker, you are match made as if you are a tank 1 tier higher, and this SU-100 is totally screwed. So a tier 6 light tank with scout matchmaking is match made as if it's a tier 7 tank, and so on and so forth. So this thing gets into tier 8 to 10 games, not tier 7 games. If you ever find yourself in what appears to be a tier 7 game, that is because the matchmaker has decided that you are going to be the only quote-unquote tier 8 tank for that game. But it is not a tier 7 game, and you should be able to tell, one way of telling is that there won't be any tier 5s in that game. Anyway, picks up the kill on the T-150 and on the Jagdtiger. Oh, leaves the Jagdpanther on 8 health, and then the T-34 polishes him off. Scoreline is currently 9 kills to 9, which is an improvement. His team were losing to start things off. And Mac is going, by the look of it, on the hunt for artillery. Artillery are usually hiding at the back here somewhere. There we go. Pure hate, Berlin crime. What a strange name. Anyway, third shot to kill this guy, and you could argue why isn't Mac using his 2 HE rounds, but frankly it wouldn't have made much difference there. He had AP loaded to start with, and beyond that point he'd have taken 2 HE or 2 AP rounds to kill the guy, and HE he'd have actually had to aim his shots with some care. Worth noting, of course, that both this tank and the T71 in the next replay, along with a lot of tier 9 and 10 medium tanks for instance, fire APCR ammunition as their standard ammo. Mac is not spamming premium ammo here. This is his standard ammunition. It gives him 150 average damage and 175 average penetration. Goodbye IS-3. His premium rounds are heat, and the penetration goes up to 210. So yes, bear that in mind. Mac is not just spamming gold ammo everywhere in either of these replays. Hello, little Chaffee. Your big brother has come to teach you a lesson. Goodbye, little Chaffee. And Mac is just making his way back to his own base. Spots out the enemy Bert, but meh. Doesn't really want to stop to take shots at this guy. And T-34. Now, this T-34 takes way too long to realise that to have any chance of keeping up with Mac, he's going to have to move both his turret and his suspension, his tracks, in the same direction. There we go, he's finally caught on. Although he manages to fluff that shot. Now, this is something, obviously, in a light tank you can do against a heavy tank. Just carousel them to death. If Mac were in a slower light tank, he might have to aim for the tracks to make sure this guy can't shoot him. But the M41 Walker Bulldog is pretty darn quick, so that's not really an issue. And in taking the time to aim for the tracks, you can sometimes put yourself in a bit of hot water. Because you're not doing damage to the tank and you're concentrating on other things, and your time can just go wrong. Anyway, that was the game. Now, despite the impressive performance and very nice base experience he got from that game, that was only a first class. I say only, it's still a very good result, but it wasn't an ace tanker. Getting an ace tanker in this machine before the nerf, I don't know about now, but before the nerf was quite difficult. I know people who got over 1600 base experience and it wasn't enough. So yeah, he also didn't take a single point of damage throughout that entire game, which is quite impressive. Anyway, take a look at the post-battle results and then we'll jump into game number 2. As promised, game number 2 is in the other Tier 7 American light tank, the T71. So this is the machine that was originally on the auto-loading line, it still is, leading up to the T69, the T54E1, and then the T57 heavy tank. So this tank gets an auto-loader, it doesn't get a single shot gun option. But it has the same average damage and penetration per shell as the Bulldog, and you know, it still fires APCR as its standard ammo, gets heat as its premium round. And again, this is relatively favourable matchmaking. Mac is effectively top tier. This is only a tier 8 game, and as I said, tier 7 light tanks get match made as if they are tier 8 tanks. So initially, Mac is coming over to this side of the map. Oh, by the way, this is an assault game. His team are defending, and they are on Derpenberg. We shall see how many people can drown themselves. You know, I honestly can't actually remember how many people drown themselves in this, so we'll see. So Mac is coming over to this location. There's a little bush you can use to try and spot the enemy team as they approach. There's a Jagdpanther. IS-3 back there as well. Now, the T71 has an oscillating turret. I mean, this was part of a project, a collaborative project between the Americans and the French. It has this oscillating turret, so its gun depression is not so hot, as is often the case with many oscillating turret designs. I'm not sure about its gun elevation off the top of my head. And Mac's been spotted, and run away, run away, run away, run away. The wonders of Sixth Sense, because in that sort of situation, the WZ is in cover, so you can't really see if he's aiming at you or not. And Mac decides that, no, he does not yet. Sorry, I was thinking Mac decides discretion is the better part of valor, but no, he's just running away, breaking contact, and going to pop back up again. That Jagdpanther takes pain. Alas, the friendly team loses a KV2. Oh, Mac gets spotted again. I think his scouting days in this position are over, I will be honest. Mac's going to try once more though. If I'm honest, I think, and there's an AMX 1375, he gets spotted, manages to dodge that shot, and then runs away. The problem here is that as Mac is running away, he's leaving himself a relatively exposed target, and the WZ manages to put a shot into him. Now, I guess my bit of advice for this replay would be take the hint after you've already been spotted a couple of times. You know, take the hint that that position isn't working a little bit sooner, and get out of there without losing almost half your health in the process. But never mind. Scoreline is 1-3. Mac has alas been spotted again, but he's trying to outflank these guys. And that WZ is looking at him. Oh, no. Ninja's the shot from the WZ, and there's an AMX 1375. Now, this is a very interesting duel. This is... Oh, he sets him on fire. The American Tier 7 light tank that has an autoloader versus the French Tier 7 light tank, also with an autoloader. And in a comparison between the two, basically, the American machine has more... Oh, no. Oh, no. And he's on fire, and his engine's gone. So... in stark contrast to the previous game where Mac took 0 damage, Mac has lost most of his health and had to use both his fire extinguisher and his repair kit relatively early on in this game. So yeah, the 1375, he bounces on the Lorraine there. But he only needs 3 shots to actually kill this guy. Takes that shot on the move, and that one, and then the 3rd shot should just polish this fellow off. There we go, artillery down. So the AMX 1375 also has a 6-shell autoloader, but its shells do more damage each, so it actually has higher clip damage. I'm not sure about the reload time on the magazine of the T71. The AMX 1375 is pretty good. T71 is faster, smaller, more agile, and I think gets more gun elevation. It's a bit more flexible. It also gets APCR as its standard ammunition, meaning higher shell velocity, and also gets higher penetration as its standard ammo. Basically, I've only played the 1375. I haven't played the T71 yet. And the 1375 is certainly not a bad tank, but the T71 just looks like an upgrade in every sense. And so I found it a little bit confusing that when they nerfed the Bulldog and they buffed a bunch of light tanks, they specifically said the French light tanks, all of them, were not going to receive that buff because they were fine as they were. Is that right? Oh, that was unlucky. Just trying to find a shot on this AMX. Come on, 2 more rounds. There we go.
5-minute warning.
I'm not sure if Mac uses the server reticle or not. It looks a little bit like he might have been. I don't know. Scoreline is 7-10. This is not looking particularly good. And Mac has picked up 3 kills. But, you know, he's had a little bit of fortune in that he set the AMX on fire, but then he's had a bit of bad fortune in that he himself has also been set on fire. Anyway, WZ. Sidearm with a WZ, yeah, he can penetrate that. Alas, he can only get 1 shot in, but the IS-3 polishes him off. KV-4. 1 shot. 2 shots. KV-4 misses. This looks like it's a stock KV-4. And Mac manages to leave him on 214 health. The scoreline is 9-12. Oh dear. The friendly team have artillery, a T-29, and Mac himself remaining. The enemy team, oh god, they've got a triumvirate of tier 8s, KV-2, Type 58, and there was a flat panzer. So the enemy team do appear to have the advantage here. Now, we know that the KV-4 is stock and on relatively low health. They just lost artillery. T-29, however, manages to nail the FCM, so well played to him. And Mac is going to be approaching things from a different angle. T-29 is over on this side of the river, and hopefully the T-29 can also do something about that Type 58. That would be very nice. So the KV-2, the IS-3 and the KV-4 were all last spotted on the other side of the river. So the only tank that we know of that's currently on this side of the river is the Type 58 that this T-29 is currently having a bit of a slanging match with. There's the KV-2. The gun on this tank is not especially accurate, but there's 1 hit. T-29 nails the Type, but the KV-2 nails the T-29. Nah, alas. Mac manages to put 1 shot into the KV-2 though. and then reloads his magazine. The nice thing about the autoloaders on the light tanks is that as they're low caliber, generally speaking, the magazine reload time is not too bad. I mean, on the 5100, if you've got the top gun, you get a magazine reload time of like 50 seconds or something stupid. Even worse if you're driving a tier 10 waffle thrower. But this thing, you know, it seems to reload the I mean, the 1375 reloads its magazine in under 20 seconds. This thing looks like it's something similar. So, IS-3, KV-4, KV-2. Lots of people have a habit of saying that the Russian tanks, the Soviet tanks, are overpowered. Now, they are relatively easy to play in many instances, but we're about to see an example of how overpowered is not the word I would use to describe them. So, Mac is just being sneaky. He's in a light tank. It retains its camo value on the move. I think he has optics, though if I'm honest, I can't quite remember. And he puts one shot into the KV-4, mostly resetting the base, though not completely, and then polishes the KV-4 off. Did Mac get spotted at any point? We know Mac has sixth sense. No, he didn't. Why did he not get spotted? Because mid-ish tier Soviet heavy tanks have absolutely terrible, terrible view range. And this IS-3, despite having had the KV-4 die, and the KV-4 was taking shots from this side of the map, is giving Mac his bum. And then he takes fire from behind, and so he presents Mac with more of his bum. I don't really understand that, if I'm honest, but Mac's not complaining. And then Mac is out of ammunition and reloads the magazine. Now, KV-2 is making its way to the friendly base, but have you noticed the timer? There's 1 minute-ish of this game remaining.
1 minute remains.
It takes 100 seconds to cap the enemy base. This means that with the remaining time, 2 players can capture the base, but 1 cannot. So it depends on whether that KV-2 gets into the capture circle in time. There's the KV-2.
30 seconds left.
And now there's only 30 seconds remaining. The IS-3 is still the only one who's in the capture circle. The KV-2 came out in a bad place and took a shot. 20 seconds remaining. And oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. And so this is, you know, he's bearing in mind the actual victory conditions of the game. He doesn't have to kill all the enemy team. He just has to make sure that they don't cap. And they all have terrible view range. T71 does not. He can outspot them and shoot them from relative impunity, with relative impunity. So to my mind, that was actually a better game. This, you know, Mac lost a shed ton of health at the beginning, but was still able to be a massive assistance to his team, winning it for them. Just goes to show, you know, 1 HP is all you need remaining. Everything else is superfluous. So there we go. That was actually an ace tanker for Mac, despite having a lower base experience than the previous game. I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos, and indeed some of the other subscriber replays that Max sent in, and others. So feel free to catch some of my other videos, and or subscribe to the channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.